I think it's safe to say that all of our students who are admitted into Notre Dame are very goal-oriented. They worked hard in high school to get here, and once they are here, they continue to work very hard to achieve their next goal, a Notre Dame degree. And with a Notre Dame degree in hand, they want to make something of their lives, to be successful, to be the best that they can be. Goals are good because they help clarify the future. They determine much of the way we act. The feast we celebrate today is important, for it brings to mind another kind of goal for which each of us should strive. The goal of conforming our lives to Jesus Christ, of living His life, of becoming saints. A saint, as you know, whether officially canonized or not, is a holy person who has done great things, not as measured by society's standards necessarily, but by gospel standards. Perhaps we have been more frightened or awed by these holy men and women, thinking that sanctity is an impossible feat which only a few can achieve. But nothing could be further from the truth. Sanctity is not reserved for a few Christians. The men and women pictured in the windows around us come from every way of life, from the rich to the poor. Sanctity is not reserved for only a few. It is expected of you and of me, because we are all called by baptism to live the life of Jesus Christ. Heroes may well be saints, but not all saints are heroes. On the contrary, more than often than not, these people are very ordinary folk, like you and I. It is true that many saints have been reputed to have done great things. But can you think of a greater thing for us to do with our lives in this world, a greater goal to have, than to live the gospel message in spirit and in truth? The goal to become a saint? How can we tell if we're on the path to sanctity? Jesus tells us in today's gospel passage on the Beatitudes. If you are poor in spirit, he says, if you place the things of this world in their proper perspective, then you will be happy. You will be blessed. If you are gentle, responding with kindness and patience when you could easily lose your temper or become upset, then you'll be blessed. If you hunger and thirst for what is right and just, if you respond honestly and sincerely when others are being wronged, when you know something to be unethical, unfair, or unjust, then you'll be blessed. If you are merciful, if you forgive those who have offended you, those who have cheated you or wronged you, those who have humiliated you, then you'll be blessed. If you are pure of heart, if you speak honestly without deceit, if you are a person of integrity, you'll be blessed. If you are a peacemaker, if you reconcile differences between others, or differences between another and yourself, then you'll be blessed. If you are persecuted, if you stand up for what you as a Christian believe, even if it means ridicule or rejection, then you'll be blessed. Christ has shown us the way, and countless Christians have shown that it is possible to walk that path leading to holiness. Today's feast honors these men and women, the obscure as well as the famous saints, including the saints that each one of us has known in this life. But we do not merely honor the saints like we honor George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. We venerate them, first as models of faith, and second, as intercessors. I always take great comfort in my patron saint, Peter the Apostle. In spite of his weaknesses, his impetuosity, his saying the wrong thing most of the time, his lack of faith, his infidelity, even his cowardice, Jesus not only forgives him, but places him at the head of his church. Certainly, Peter had a long way to go in growing in holiness, in living out those Beatitudes. But after the events of Easter Sunday, he would never, ever waver again. He would remain steadfast and faithful, even to his own death in Rome, being crucified, tradition says, upside down. When I become discouraged by my own sinfulness, I find strength and hope in the example of St. Peter, who himself knew the forgiveness and mercy of Jesus. As a model of faith, St. Peter, for me, is a man, a saint, with whom I can truly identify. A second reason for venerating the saints is that they serve as powerful intercessors on our behalf. Think of all those times you have been asked to pray for someone who is sick or in trouble or in need. It means a great deal to that person to know that you are praying to God for him or for her. So too with the saints, whom we invoke to pray to God for us or for others. These holy men and women cannot help but be powerful intercessors on our behalf as they stand, as the book of Revelation tells us, before the throne and before the Lamb, wearing white robes and holding palm branches in their hands. if we can intercede for one another here on earth, surely the saints can do so for us in heaven. Yes, it's safe to say that all of us here are very goal-oriented. Today's Feast of All Saints invites us to look again at the Beatitudes and to ask ourselves whether our lives are really set on the goal which, in the end, is all that matters. Holiness in this life and union with God forever in the next.